Welcome, Daily Live Extra here on Toffee TV. Some news has broken, which is good because we had nothing else to talk about. We were just going to rip Ned for an hour. We'll do that anyway, to be fair. Gareth Prosser has been named as the club's new academy director. This is something that leaked last week, which is good news. That's in place. Also, other news that Paul Tate has been made the head coach of Everton under-21s. It is the under-21s now because the under-23s league, Premier League 2, is now an under-21s league, although there will be, I think it's 5 overage players next season as they bring it back. The average age of the under-23s is actually 19, so they've decided to make an under-23s league. So that's why
21 league.
21. That's why it's under 20. So if you hear under 21s, that's why it's under 21s. And Leighton Baines has become the under 18s head coach, stepping up from the being assistant, which he became last season. So that's good. We spoke about this last week. I think it's really good that Paul Tate got the job because he was doing well with the under 18s. Had been doing well with the under 18s. Sorry, and a lot of those 18s had gone into the under 23s. And I think it's good that there's a pathway not only for the players but for the coaches. And it'll freshen her up a little bit. Leighton Baines as well, making a major move in with his coaching career.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it was discussed last week. I think Paddy Boylan broke it last week, didn't he? The Gareth Prosser stuff and then the Paul Tate stuff as well. So, but the Paul Tate stuff has obviously been bubbling for a while. We knew at the back end of last season that he was in the running and would more than likely get that job. But it was just a case of obviously they had a lot of external applicants as well. I believe the list was very good. But like you say, he's done really well at the club. And if there isn't a pathway for coaches, then you see coaches move on and you lose good people from around the club. So it's a good opportunity for him now in his development. Baines is an interesting one because not really what I thought he'd do, to be honest. Never struck me as wanting to go into management, and he may not. This may be what he wants to do and just be a youth coach, a youth coach or whatever, or may do this for a bit and then go, actually I want to go onto the business side. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Obviously he stepped up and gave Duncan, didn't he, for the feud, the week that they had in between Benitez and then Lampard. So he has done that before, and has been helping Paul Tate as well, and a good person to learn off. I think at that age, dead impressionable, I think, for young players who come through. He's only out the Premier League 3 or 4 years, so they'll know him as he was as they were growing up, that he was Premier League football. And I think that's really, really important on young players.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen as well in the last 3 or 4 years is that a lot of those people, there's been a lot of evidence suggesting that a lot of coaches who've been working with the likes of the under 18s, under 19s, 21s, have made major steps up into football, into the main football. You look at Steven Gerrard, took the role. He was under 18s. Liverpool went to Rangers, now Villa. His assistant when he was at Liverpool, or the guy who succeeded him at Liverpool, what's his name? He went to Blackpool.
Neil Critchley.
Critchley's now his assistant at Villa, isn't he now?
Has he left Blackpool?
He's left Blackpool. Michael Appleton's took over Blackpool.
Oh,
yeah. So he's gone to Villa.
Good coach, Critchley.
You've got didn't Cooper at Forest have a similar?
He was a young, he's done the youth. But there is the more and more.
Yeah, and there was the guy at was it Swansea? He used to be the England under 20s manager when they won the World Cup.
I don't know.
What's his name? But there's been 3 or 4 examples in the last few years of people not having to go through the whole system, but showing how good a coach they are at that level. So I think for Baines,
if you look at Everton, Joe Edwards was the under 18s, I think, at Chelsea, and he got promoted. I think Frank Lampard took him, didn't he, and made him one of the assistants and stuff like that. So, and Thomas Tuchel kept them around. So if they've got a good reputation and they're coaching well, then it does look like more and more people are prepared to use them because why wouldn't you? People like Anthony Barry are getting a good reputation in the game. He's not being a manager.
It's pure coaching, isn't it, as well? That's the difference, isn't it?
It is, because it's, like you say, in general, there's no you don't have to worry about all, transfers and stuff like that's not there. So it's each and every day you're going out on that training pitch and trying to make young players better, and then using the data and everything, because they are using more and more data now. The 18s and stuff, using all the analytics as well. So it's getting used to them, translating them, and putting them across into your coaching. Because obviously, the sooner you start using imagery with young players and analytics with young players, then that's going to give them that experience to take that forward as they move through the game, because that is part and parcel of football now. If you're a young player, you're better getting that information at 16, 17, 18, rather than if you do step up, it's a huge shock to you when you move up and there's all of this other data that you weren't aware of. So clubs are starting to do that now, so you're conditioning these players as they move through the ranks, but coaches have to be in the same boat, and that's exactly what's happening now. And when these fellas are doing it, and then they get the opportunity to go somewhere else, they've already got that experience and using all that when they're standing on their own 2 feet. So it's interesting, and again, further evidence that Kevin Thelwell has made some. There's been a lot of changes already for someone who only came into the club in February. We're in June, and now I can't remember there being this many changes when Marcel Brands took over. And that might have just been because things were in place or whatever, I don't know. But there's really been a few structural changes already, I think, in the 3 or 4 months.
I think I don't know whether you want to point fingers at Brands is, we'll never really know the true story.
Yeah, I'm just saying
we'll never know the true story till he actually speaks about it. Whether he was told things were going to change or whether they weren't, he never truly had the power to make those changes, it seemed, while David Unsworth was there. So you had all this conflict of interest while Unsworth was there. And listen, David Unsworth is a boss fella and has always treated us brilliantly. But when he was there did seem to be there was different things going on at different places. Who held the power? Marcel Brands was supposed to hold the power, but why was David Unsworth doing 2 roles, and why was he indispensable, and who was his boss, and why did it seem like it wasn't Marcel Brands? Whereas now Kevin Thelwell's come in and it seems like has been given the license, and of course he should have the license, he's the director of football, to put his own people in place. And I think what you're seeing now is a very, very clear structure at the football club, whereas I think when David Unsworth was in charge, it seemed very muddied. There seemed to be 2 or 3 people doing what felt like the same job, just with a slightly different title. To the outside person, is. And now it seems very clear what's going on. It seems a very, very clear setup now. I mean, that doesn't necessarily guarantee it'll work, of course. That's not how football works. But to the outside person, I'm looking at it going, well, that's your job. Paul Tate is the coach of the under-21s. He's not this and that and the other. He's not, he's the coach, and Leighton Baines is a coach, and this guy's come in, and it seems more professional and more modern, and I think that's all you can really ask for. And I think now people know who's above them, who's their boss, who they answer to, and again, that's a very important thing.
And also, I guess with Baines as well, important for the young lads who are becoming scholars this summer, and for the first year scholars who have played under Tate and Baines last season, because if you get to the summer, you go away on holiday and you come back, and if you come back to someone you've got no clue about, it's one of them, isn't it? So there will be that kind of continuity there, and it's a good opportunity for Baines to show what he's made of. Has he got it? Can he coach? Can he get his points across? Can he develop players? The same with Paul Tate. It's one thing getting players into the under-23s as it was, and now it's going to be the under-21s. Can he now start developing players who can get into Everton's first team? It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. You're the 18s manager. It is about getting them a pro contract and breaking through into the team above. And now he's trying to do it for for the football club. So it's a new challenge for him. And we'll see whether he's up to it, and hopefully he is. And you're right, there's that line, that clear pathway seems to be there between everybody now. And maybe when Brands was here, there was too much meddling. There wasn't a clear thing of off you go, you're doing that. But maybe with Kevin Thelwell, when he's coming, that's been part of the discussions of being, I want autonomy. I want to put, if you want me to come in and put a structure in place, you've got to let me come in and put a structure in place. You can't say, well, I know you want to do that, but you can't touch him, or you can't touch that area, or you can't touch this area. It seems like they've said, okay, do it then. Because the other thing as well is, if you let someone get on with the job, then you can hold them accountable. Whereas if you give someone a job and then don't let them do it to the best of their ability, then how can you make them accountable for it? You can't. Because they're always going to have, well, yeah, but you didn't let me do that. Like Marcel Brands could sit here and go, this is what I wanted to do, and this is what the football club stopped me from doing. And you might look at it and go, well, yeah, you still should have done that. Or you might look at it and go, oh God, no wonder we didn't do anything because you weren't allowed to do it. I mean, only he will know that. Yeah. But it seems right now, it could change, it seems right now that Everton have got some kind of structure in place.
But like you just said, people in place. How do you know someone's actually doing a good job or a bad job if the structure's all over the place? If it's an absolute mess, how do you know someone's doing a bad job? And that might look at David Unsworth and might go, he could have done that job better if he wasn't doing this job, or we don't know if he was, or you know, when he was the under-23s, it was set up like it was its own club and stuff, and he might go, I couldn't work with this player or that player because of the setup or whatever, or the way we did things, or we weren't getting players out fast enough, so it meant that I was stuck with these players that I had to use, or I was told to use, or whatever. I think now it looks like it's starting to look a little bit more defined, and all the roles are starting to look very, very clear. And ones we spoke about on Friday, the new jobs they're looking for as well, that they're even more defining. You know, you're getting into the actual nitty gritty now, where it's not just, well, I do that, and that, which is, we've said it for far too long. Too many people at Everton do too many jobs, and there's this thing of, if you don't do something, if you're not good at your job, you don't get told you're leaving the club. You just get put in a different role, and that's where this cozy club, thing comes from. Of like, well, one of us, isn't he? It's like, no. If they're not good enough, and this is football. It's like a lot of them would have been, whether it be players. See you later, mate. You're not good enough. You'll have to. We want the best. We haven't got time to be sitting around on people who are not good enough, because you're holding the whole process up for the rest of us. Yeah,
I agree. Nathan Hamlin says, hello lads, all the way from Perth, Australia. How are you going? Also, right. What position do you want a new player in the most?
Well, obviously, centre-back's number one. Hopefully that's all sorted. And then centre midfield, I think, would be the next one for me. I think you're talking about positions that we absolutely need someone in, and centre midfield is a position where I think we need 2 or 3 in. This summer, because we're very, very light in that position. Because obviously we've lost a few, including Fabian Delph, who's deleted all his Everton pictures off Instagram. Fabian Delph.
Has he? Yes, right, thank God. The pair of us can just, him and us, can we just forget he ever darkened our doorway? Rubbish. What a rubbish transfer that was. I thought at the time it'd help, but he was Fabian awful, he was. But there you go. He's not a very likeable fella, is he?
No.
Yeah. Roy Keane told me that. So there you go. Good, he's gone, thank God. DC Toffee says, let's go up the Toffees, sitting here at the Isle of Palms in Charleston, South Carolina, for a nice bit of vacation. Looking forward to seeing everyone at the match in Baltimore. It's right, mate, enjoy your vacation.
Nice.
Gary Ward says, howdy. Tyler Kimber, who sounds to me like a left back. Tyler Kimber, US
Kimber.
international.
Tyler Kimber's a wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. That's just the way it is, Baz. But you can't cheat the name code. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is.
He's definitely a USMNT left back.
No, he was 15th in the draft. Honestly, you can't argue. There's a science behind the names. He's a wide receiver at the Miami Dolphins. He was 15th. He'll probably, I imagine, in the next couple of years, just because of his quickness, he'll probably, I think, get a transfer to the Bengals. I imagine. I'm thinking that, but then his career will be an upward trajectory from that point.
For me, he's a USMNT left back. New York City have looked at him. He's been linked with Everton, but I think he'll end up at Portland Timbers. But he'll have a good, solid career.
Andy Robinson's the left back. They don't sound the same.
Oh, he's a left back in England. Scottish left back playing in England. Tyler's full on MLS, living it.
Either that or he's a pro lacrosse player.
Well, yeah,
and plays in his flip flops.
That would be fair play. 6'1" blonde. Grant Ferguson says, "All right, lads, just sitting by the pool in Cape Verde." Very good to hear about Baines.
Cape Verde?
Cape.
I'm going to say,
Cape.
Sitting by Cape Verde's pool.
Maybe. Cape Verde. Good to hear about Baines getting the under-18 job. Wish him all the best. It's like, Grant, enjoy your holiday.
Cape Verde does sound like a James Bond villain's island, doesn't it?
Amy's been on holiday there. In fact, Zach's got the footy kit, Cape Verde footy kit. Very colourful.
Very capey.
Very capey, yeah. Tom says, completely understand all the P&L stuff, but I just don't get a couple of things. Last summer, we had Diaz, if James agreed to go, which still would have meant us shelling out a sizable fee to Porto. We supposedly had deals in place for Dumfries and Nunes, for which Benitez pulled the plug, and in the end we only spent 1.5 million. A year down the line we've still spent nothing, and all that's happened is our wage bill is reduced. So I'm confused why we now can't spend a single penny without a sale, yet had deals in place last summer which didn't happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is all a bit weird, isn't it? It is like someone opened up the books and went, this is where, like, no, I agree with you. That has always puzzled me. Is that how could you?
Don't forget though the change.
No, I'm just saying
the change is what's happened with the USM as well.
Yeah, of course.
So because there was plans to spend money in June, which quite clearly aren't happening because there's a big hole where there was money. But yeah, no, I agree. There was things. There was deals in. I mean, the James stuff was a yes away from it happening. Diaz was done. But don't forget, if James, we saved, 8 million a year by James going.
But we still saved it.
No, I know. But I'm saying the Diaz would have been, that was 30 million over 4 years, wasn't it? So, or 5 years, so 6 million a year. I don't know. Maybe they could have got 6 million.
Very confusing.
Together. No, it is. I agree. But it probably is a case if they've looked and gone, ooh dear, don't press confirm on any transaction right now. And also, as well, don't forget Everton were gambling on Moise Keane going to PSG as well last year. They thought Keane was going to PSG, and it never happened. So, Tom says, hello lads, can't really argue with the appointments at the moment. Thelwell come to the job 5 months ago, was tasked to completely restructure the club while trying to create a recruitment strategy for the first team, so time is of the essence. Long process ahead, still needing head of recruitment and other job roles. Patience needed over this whole situation because essentially there was hardly anyone working at the club in January. Yeah, the head of recruitment is ongoing. That's coming to an end, and obviously there's other stuff out there, isn't it? July the 1st, they want the other stuff, the analytical stuff by then. So Derek Polahonki says, morning boys, these Zinchenko links are exciting. Would love him and Gallagher. I know that is probably wishful thinking, but they could transform the midfield. Also another very cheap centre-back option could be Walker Zimmerman. He's an amazing leader for the US and a very strong defender. Interesting. Well, they've basically, Tarkovsky's done, isn't he? That won't be announced before July the 1st. So, and it might even be a little bit later than that, I believe. But That's one in. Sensitivity over.
No, I know, but surely if his contract is done and we're back to training.
I think Everton will just be. Tom says, very rare director of football is tasked to completely restructure the entire club, especially a Premier League club. Yeah, it was a mess, wasn't it, in January? It was a mess. So we have just got to just leave him, let him get on with it. Danny says, Delwell seems to have had a brilliant impact so far. I think the fans need patience. He seems to be building from the ground up and not trying to take shortcuts. Progress will take time, but it's a positive start. Yeah, Peter Finn says, did Everton open academies in Australia and the United States? Sorry, I'm a bit confused about this. They have got stuff in the United States. It's
affiliations
rather than academies.
We're not that clever.
What do you think about Zlatan playing all season injured?
Amazing.
Needing
Did you see those injections? Have you seen those injections?
No. I don't want to either.
Basically, and all the fluid drained. Like,
just pull the fluid
horrible,
out.
Horrible. He's
out
for like 7 months.
Oh, is he? He's just left.
It was ACL. He said he played on it for 7 months, and every day he'd get it drained.
Oh,
and now he's out for like 7 months, and Milan are giving him a new contract because basically saying, well, yeah, nice one. Unbelievable. Absolutely nuts.
Myers says, very worrying. It took 6 years to construct a clear structure. Mashiri really was clueless. Our club would have been finished if it weren't for the fans. Onwards and upwards anyway, fellas. Yeah, well, let's hope we've got there now, eh? It's so frustrating because you look back to the first couple of years of Mashiri's reign and the money, and if he would have been able to do this then, where would we be now? That's the real disappointing thing, isn't it? That we're left with what we're left with, but you can't go back, so we have to just go right. Let's see. That's hopefully as we move forward, things will be getting better. Chris Mills says, with Chelsea getting Sterling, does this open the door for them letting a few go? Thanks of Gallagher and Brozier, I imagine.
Well, Lukaku's going, isn't he? He's going to Inter Milan on loan by the looks of it.
10 million.
So that's one out the door. It's a good signing, although seen Andy talking on it yesterday in our group, and the amount of games Sterling's played is ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to have an effect at some point. But I suppose does that take them out of the Richarlison situation as well? But yeah, I think they'll be. I think they Thomas Tuchel now will feel like, I think the restraints are off that, because listen, the minute Abramovich went, Lukaku just stopped playing. It's as simple as that. It was just like, yep, that's it. I don't have to play this fella anymore. And I feel like that's what'll happen now. Don't get me wrong, I don't think there's too many others, but I do think probably now, like, Pulisic could be one. That could be, I'm not saying to us, but I'm just saying I think Pulisic will be.
Love him.
I think Pulisic will be moved on by them very quickly. I just don't think he.
Go and get him on loan.
I'd go and get him. I think just for numerous reasons, because he's a good player, but obviously
fantastic for us.
But if we, for the whole American thing, he'd be massive for us.
The thing is, he can play in the 10 and wide.
Well, if we went to him, let's just say, if we went to him, and obviously,
just have a player every week.
Lampard had him, didn't he? If we had him, it's like you're going into a World Cup, and you'll be playing every week. Possibly, I'm not saying you would. How does that? He'd be all over. That's where actually this World Cup's quite interesting. You could get a few players like that. There might be a few players who don't want to play every week, but there might be a few be like, yeah, I want to go in a full pelt. And I think so. Pulisic could be one. And I do think Gallagher's a weird one. I think he's on the edge. I do think they're going to look to obviously move some on if they can, but because of the wage structure of players at Chelsea, it's difficult. It'll be difficult just to move them on. So I think there might be a few loans available, and if Pulisic was one or Conor Gallagher was one, I'd be all over if we could. But obviously we could only have a couple, couldn't we? So it's where you're strengthening the areas. You've got to get that right. You got to be in get the right areas sorted.
Therefore, Mark Hageman says, evening from Adelaide, Australia. You guys are bloody legends. Thank you very much, mate. Mark McDonough says, takeover talk seems to have gone quiet. You heard anything? No. They will do, won't they? Because there was a lot of noise last week, but they were nowhere near as far along as what some people were making out. But there won't be stuff every day because that's a big thing, isn't it? To take over a football club, it's a huge thing. John Jones says you would assume Everton have an appraisal system with measurable targets like every serious company in the world. I mean, you would.
You would think that.
But we'll see. We'll see. Brian says, waiting for my DBS check before I can start my new job. Didn't know you lads did afternoon live streams, a bonus. Just while the summer, while the transfer window's on and for the summer.
We do them all the time.
We do them all the time on Patreon, but we, on YouTube while it's the summer and all that stuff. Mark D says wages and amortisation costs are down as 5 players have gone. I believe you can add at least another 3 players. Well, one of them's been ticked off there, hasn't he, in terms of Tarkovsky, so. But we'll see. Bruno said, would anyone take Hakeem Ziyech from Chelsea if Sterling comes in?
Well, he's another one, isn't he? He's another one.
He's got a lovely left foot.
You would take him, wouldn't you? But I think there'd be a lot of teams that would take him, and he probably will become available. It's a difficult summer though, isn't it? I think for clubs like Chelsea, who want a lot of turnover. I just don't know if there's enough time to do it all. It doesn't feel like there's enough time, does it? It just seems very complicated with the World Cup.
Yeah.
To get players in and out, and then those players wanting to move out, so especially the ones who are involved in the World Cup. It just seems like there's so much that moving parts, and I know stuff's, don't get me wrong, stuff's already started, so stuff is ongoing, but a lot of the big, looking at the Rafinha stuff there, Andy's just sent some stuff over there. He's got an agreement with Barcelona, but Barcelona can't get anywhere near what Leeds want because of their financial problems. So then Arsenal want him, but Arsenal are not going to pay it. So you've got a player there who's on the verges of the Brazil squad, who's not probably that already knows he wasn't staying at Leeds or had made his mind up, and then you've got to pick yourself up from that. You had a deal basically already sorted with Barcelona, and then Barcelona just can't afford them now with their financial problems, and there's going to be a bit of that going round this summer, and there's a few teams that are traditional big hitters that I don't look at, like, I think Bayern Munich probably once they've done their the Mane deal, that'll probably be them. They'll have a few that'll go out, but but Lewandowski's in the same boat. He wanted to go to Barcelona. He's stuck now. What did he do with him? It's I think we are.
He's just been linked with Chelsea.
Yeah, but does he see Chelsea in the way they don't want to? They've just had Lukaku. I know there's like the different players, but he's still Man United. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. It is. There's a few players who will be waiting on big moves, and I just don't, like you say, I'm just not sure it's going to happen. Like Richarlison, for all the talk, nobody's bid for him. Spurs can go, we like him, and do whatever you want. But no, they haven't put the money down, have they? Been like with Chelsea. Are Chelsea really going to take Richarlison and Raheem Sterling? Maybe if they got 2 out, then maybe if Lukaku's gone. So maybe if they went, well, you know what? We'll get him out, and we'll get him out.
And then that's the problem, isn't it? It's the knock-on effect. Do you know what I mean? Spurs are apparently like the other lad who's at Inter, don't they?
Oh, yeah, well, that's who he really wants.
So,
Martinez.
So if Lukaku goes back, then that might it's all about, and that's what I'm saying.
Domino.
It used to be that domino effect, and I just don't think that's there anymore. So Everton are waiting now. Probably thinking, well, we probably have to sell it. There's no one coming in for Dom. So where's the thing? Where's the, you've got
the big sale,
Chelsea, City, trying to get like, look like they're going to get like 3 or 4 out by the looks of it, but that's quite, they're like Chelsea and Arsenal, they're easy deals, but it's not flowing. I don't think that as much as sometimes it does when those big clubs start moving the players around.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Cam's in the comments, says, afternoon boys, not long now till we're on that flight. How many do you think we'll have in by the USA, or are we having? it's it. You know, it can change, can't it, dead quick, but right now, I reckon, we might only have one in by the time we go to America. We might have to, for all of those reasons we've just been saying, we might just have to accept that it's the late window again this year. And it's never ideal. Everton don't ever seem to be in a position where it's ideal, where they can go, right, we're doing our business early. Now, that might change. It can change in a day, can't it? Someone could come in today with 60 million for the Charles and Everton go, right, we'll accept that, we're happy with that. And off he goes. And then there's that money to go, right, we can spend that. And then you might end up with 2 or 3 in by the time you go. But just right now, because it is quite quiet on everything, it wouldn't surprise me, mate, if it was just Tarkowski. That wouldn't surprise me. That obviously then would mean that Richarlison and Dom would be in the US with us. So, well, I mean, what have you made of the Zinchenko stuff? It's been bouncing around for a bit, hasn't it?
It's dead easy though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's dead easy. He's leaving City. We like him. There's just that thing in the middle called cash.
Called money, yeah.
That's the. Do you know what I mean? It's like
take him on loan for a year with a view to their anti-bit thingy. Do what Spurs are brilliant at. I've been brilliant at it.
Why can't we? Yeah, but
12-month
do we
loan
think like that though?
And a
do we think
summer.
like that though? Can we go to Manchester City and go? We want to take him.
We haven't got the money this summer.
Can we? You know, we'll have it next summer. Can we? Are we clever enough to do stuff like that? Can we take a 2-year loan and then make it into a permanent in 2 years' time? Have we got the intelligence to do that? Have we got the wiggle room to do that? Have we got the nous to do that? There might be other people who want him. For him, it's dead easy move. It's the classic, isn't it? He lives in Manchester. He wouldn't have to move anywhere.
Michalenko.
He already knows Michalenko at the club. You know, but then as a player, he might be like, not signing for use.
Yeah.
Playing for Manchester City. Yeah. I want to continue to play at a high
level in Europe, yeah.
But then the flip side is, he's not a left back, he's not a full back, he is a midfielder. You know, when he plays international level, you watch him, he's played number 10, number 8, whatever for them. He's a very good footballer. Can Everton offer those positions, whereas someone else might be looking at him going, oh no, we like you as a full back. He's like, I'm not a full back. I have to play full back at City because...
And they win stuff.
Yeah, so it's...
Yeah.
So I imagine as a player, he might be thinking, yeah, that's a dead easy move. I don't have to move house, anything. Kids are settled. All I've got to do is just start playing for a new club, and it's dead easy.
John Jones says Zinchenko is what we wanted from Delph, but seems a better character, and he's played so few games. It's unbelievable, Delph, obviously. Yeah.
How old is he? 26.
25, isn't he?
Is he?
Sure.
So,
is that a great age?
I think he's a good player, and I think he's a good fit for Everton. Is he one that you look at and go, well, we're going to spend a majority of our summer budget on? Is he that? But then I look at the other players we're linked with and think,
yeah,
are any of them
26 in December, so 25. Yeah.
Are any of them really that kind of, you know what I mean? I do like him. I think he's a very, very honest, hard-working player with
skill as well.
With ability. No, I was going to say with ability. So, yeah, maybe Everton are just playing for time. There's no smoke without fire normally, is there, when you come to these things?
Normally, because it keeps going on.
Romano loves it.
But yeah, Jack Lad says DCL injured first game of the season. What happens then? Richie never injured. DCL to Newcastle. Yeah, but they've got to come in now, haven't they, Jack? They've got to come in. It's, you know, I've seen links with Newcastle and Dom, but if they don't come in for him, but we've got to be really careful this pre-season, because we can't lose both of them, so we do have to be really careful. Liam Heller says Cade Cowell looks a decent player. Yeah, he's good. He's only 18, played for San Jose Earthquakes, very good. He's someone, but the problem with people like Cade Cowell will be work permits. He's got loads of pace, can play wide through the middle. He does look a really good player, but it's one of them, isn't it? Kevin Thelwell will be well aware of him. Obviously, having been in MLS with New York Red Bulls.
Do you think our scouting will increase over in America? because of Kevin Fowler's links, because he might think that there's more talent over there. Seen a kid last week move from the USL to Germany, not even in MLS. USL, do you know what I mean?
People are having a look, aren't they? They're looking at all players.
Like 18, 19-year-olds, and they've got bags of pace, bags of strength and ability, and I know there is almost a better link there because of a lot of them do hold dual nationality passports and stuff, because of maybe a lot of them grew up on the bases and all that kind of thing. So
there is some good players. America have got some good young players. Nearly have, but he's just one of them. K-Cal, very good. Very good. Jack says, what are you lads saying on Zinchenko? Everyone making out like he's prime Pirlo, but personally I've never known him to play in midfield. But he's played in midfield for City quite a lot of times, but he plays midfield for Ukraine. So I don't know, Jack. Everton have been linked with him. Apparently they want him to play in midfield if you believe what certain people are saying. We'll have to see. John Jones says, Baz, I really want to be a patron, but I've not been able to transfer the money from Thailand. If you guys know a way I can do it.
PayPal.
Just PayPal, John. That's how everyone uses it. I don't know. I don't know any more than that, mate, to be honest with you.
PayPal's the best way to use Patreon.
Yeah.
He's the most easiest way. You set a PayPal up. You can set a PayPal up with your bank account as well. So it just takes the money out of your bank account. It just uses PayPal as the middle. That's it. It's dead easy, honestly. Dead easy.
Abigail says, would you take or accept 50 to 55 million plus Pulisic on loan with an option to buy?
Yeah, I think I would.
Colwell on loan. Yeah, Abigail, that would be really good.
I would, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love this, Abigail. Broadband can play all the attack and the number 10, so maybe we can use him.
I think Broadband can get a little bit stretched at times, can't it?
No, Nathan Broadhead will be going to Sunderland.
Here's what I found.
Exactly.
Sherry's even selling it.
Sherry's even there.
Lobby Rhino says, hit the like button, don't get Baz angry. No, see what to be angry today. Daily Toffee says, Dom to Newcastle is done, 60 million. Okay. But thanks for the super chat anyway. Cheers, mate. Tazul says, is Emmanuel Dennis any good? He looked lively last season. 10 goals and 5 assists. Yeah. He looked like a decent player. I'm not saying he'll come in and be amazing. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. But he looked like a decent player last year. So we'll see. The team get back for pre-season on the 1st of July, Tazul, which is a week on Friday. That's when they're back. Glenn says broadband is very fast in the right areas.
That is true. That is true.
Jack Lad says, wasn't there something Lampard wants to see Broadhead before he decides? Who knows? That's being said by certain people, but I'm not convinced. But I don't know. But I just think he will go to Sunderland, because I think if you're him and Sunderland want to buy you, he's 24. I don't think he gets into Everton's first team. I really don't.
No.
And it's about his career. He's got to get his career up and running, hasn't he? He goes back to Sunderland. They're in the Championship. Does well. They get up, or they're there or thereabouts. He's a Welsh international. Either other teams come in for him, or he gets Sunderland. He's a Premier League player.
That's a really good point. If you're him, right? If you're him, and you're thinking right now, there's a World Cup in November, right? And I know he's not been part of the squads and stuff.
Because he got.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. So if he plays every week for Wales, for Sunderland in the Championship, and he's scoring goals, and lo and behold, someone gets injured or whatever.
I think he could get in that squad anyway.
So, and I think, who knows? Maybe they say for the World Cup it's a 26-man squad rather than 23, and they go, let's go, let's take him. You know what I mean? That's the way I'd be thinking if I was him. This might be his one opportunity to play in a World Cup.
Probably be a lot of
and what would you want to be sitting on Everton's bench for the next 4 months? That's not going to get.
You're not getting in.
That's not getting you.
The thing is, if he was playing for Sunderland and scoring goals in the Championship, I think he'd got a good chance of getting him with the Welsh
the other
squad,
lad-
because he can play like the way.
The other lad who plays up front for him was in the Championship, wasn't he? Be a Premier League next season only. Didn't he go to Bournemouth? The lad who was at Cardiff.
The big lad.
Yeah, he's at Bournemouth now, isn't he? So he'll be in the Premier League.
But that's
next season.
it. But they do use Championship players because they have to.
Haven't got, yeah.
So he'd have half an opportunity, definitely, of getting in. Liam Heller said, you know what date the Dynamo Kiev friendlies hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's looking like the weekend, the 30th or 31st of July. Just seen this. Kev Murphy says, all right lads, don't want to do the usual Everton way, late business. Richie goes late on them and stuck with the money, can't get in. But we've got no choice, Kev. Ideally you wouldn't, you'd do it right now, but we haven't got any choice. Tazwil says, Baz, you glad we didn't get Leon Bailey? Now looks like a well, he had a bad season, didn't he, with injuries. I still think he's a really good player. I think he's got the pace. He did score his only goal against us. It's up to him. Get yourself fit. There's a little bit of a question mark over him, over external stuff, partying and that, I believe. But if he gets his head down, he's a good player. He is a good player, and he did it at Leverkusen. You know, he had his head down, he worked hard for them. So, and he was excellent. Of Key VO says, on the Broadhead shout, surely we're more likely to take a risk on Sims and Dobbin being around the squad than a 24-year-old who's nowhere near the side. Jack says, pretty sure he's more likely to play for Wales if he was at Everton than Sunderland. No, Jack, actually the total opposite. The total opposite. He's not going to be playing for Everton, but he will be playing for Sunderland. Just because you're at Everton doesn't mean, we'll use you then. It's just not how it works. It's playing games of football. If you're playing every week for Sunderland, doing well, they're more likely to go, you're in our squad. And got in Wales' initial squad when he was on loan at Burton. Says Dobbin is a baller. Well, hopefully. I mean, he's not done that much, but he looks like he's got something about him, definitely. So it's a big summer again for him now. Work hard. Hopefully get some games pre-season and see how he goes. Right, that's a couple on here. Hey, why's that all disappeared? Hey, lads, what's your thoughts on Zinchenko link? He's the player I'd be most excited about. He's a good player, isn't he? He's a good player. That's really it, I think. You know, versatile midfielder who can play up, back up roles, great stats that back him up, being a great holding midfielder. Jules one on passing accuracy means for me he's a no-brainer, depending on the fees. Mobile as well, which I think is an important thing. Alfie Boy says, mad how when we played Chelsea, the Charlison could be starting for them. Thoughts on replacing him with Dennis and Zinchenko? We just need to make a decision on who it's going to be, and that might be dictated by who bids, obviously, and then start to do our own turning around of the squad. Jay Radcliffe says, aye lads, I'd sack Rondon off, but if Richie or Dom are sold, should we give Keane a chance? No, it's been sold, Jay. Moise Keane's sold. It's all done. He's not coming back to Everton. Gare says, good to see that Thelwell is getting some work done on restructuring the academy, but ultimately the academy is the same as the first team. Its success or failure depends on recruitment. Hopefully we can get things in place that might attract a better class of young player. We have had some top young players, we just haven't developed them. Stephen Kelly says, all right lads, hope you both well. Do you think there could be an option where City come to the arrangement we could do a 2-year loan? I didn't see that before, Steve, but I mentioned it, didn't I? Don't know. It's worth testing the water with, absolutely, isn't it? John Crellin says nothing special about Zlatan's injections. Liverpool have been doing that with their entire squad for the last 4 years. Stephen Guy says, lads, just come back. Just had to come back on Friday's chat when we were talking about the number of seats in the size of the new stadium. I was at Spurs for the 5-0, unfortunately. The seats were £80 each and no wider than the ones in the top balcony where I currently sit. We know ticket prices will be pushed significantly higher at Bramley-Moore Dock, and frankly I want a bit of quality. where I'm expected to pay these type of prices. So squeezing more seats in might have some benefits for one. But I, for one, would prefer a lower capacity with a greater degree of comfort. If safe standing at Dortmund, where I've stood on the wall, creates a happy compromise of increasing capacity while not reducing the quality of the experience for those who want them, then I'm all for it. Keep up the great work. I think there was a thing, though, Stephen, where someone had done projections, and it was the size that Everton are offering. They don't need to be that big. They could be a bit bigger than what we've all got now, which creates more comfort, but you'd still be room to put more seats into the stadium. So we'll see. They may not do anything, and then we'll be left with 52.
I'm sure there'll be areas of the ground that we'll have, like you suggest there, like the wider seats and more, almost like you get what you pay for. And it might be that. See, I'd have the whole of that home end as safe standing seats personally. And yeah, try and make them probably the same size as what they are already in the Gladys Street. I've been sitting on that seat for years. I don't have any problem.
No, I've got no problem. I'm
6'2". I've got no problems at all being in that space. So I know it doesn't suit everybody, but I would. I have no problem. So if we can have that, it means there's having more seats. Then, of course, like you said, we will be paying more. And we'll be paying more because it's a new ground with new facilities, and we're paying our way, I suppose, for our own future, aren't we? Which does when you go on the game next season or what we've just had, probably doesn't feel right that we've got to pay more after what we've just watched. But this is the way. This is the way of the world anyway, isn't it? Simple as that. But if we can get it up, because ultimately, look at who your competitors are, and look what kind of what they're offering. I think what if we go in with the attendance, where what is it, 11th? Would it be 11th? 11th. That's our new stadium when we're
already halfway.
We're already in the bottom half. And those clubs have got a lot of those clubs will have room to move. Man United are already talking about knocking down Old Trafford and building a new stadium because it's not fit for purpose.
76,000 seater stadium.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And the facilities are not fit for purpose. So we've got this opportunity for the next 100 years to have a ground which is not only fantastic. You've seen the images at the weekend of where the pitch is going to be and what else is there. How wide it is and how much more there's going to be. So I do think Everton really need to think about this properly and think this is your one opportunity to get those seats in there and let's get it to 60,000 and just go from there.
Jacob says how much was Keane sold for? 25 million, was it? 26 million, around that figure. Mark D says, everyone enjoying the live feed, hit the like button. Cheers, Mark. Elliot Chester says, alright lads, was listening to Gimme 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 on the radio before and thought it should be a new song for Anthony Gordon. Gimme Gimme Give It to Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, that's a no from me.
There you go. Yeah, but if everyone started singing it, you'd probably be like, that's boss that. Who knows?
Yeah, it goes.
Jacob also says, lads, instead of getting Matheus Nunes for 45 million, would you take Dennis and Adama Traore? Well, Dennis is good, like I said. Traore doesn't, he should be unbelievable, but he's got no output at all. Doesn't hardly get any assists and hardly ever scores, but he should be because he's a machine. You just can't stop him when he's in full flight. I just don't know the money that people are talking that Everton are paying for these people, I just don't see it. 50 million for Gallagher, 45 for Nunes, 70 for this player,
Who's
60
paying?
for that. We haven't got that money.
But who else is paying that though?
I know, no one.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I look at these prices and I just look to myself and think, no one's paying those prices at the moment. No one is.
Nobody, so
the top clubs are not going to go in for a Conor Gallagher. They're not. That's not how they do business. And so who else is getting them? Well, who's the next tier down?
You're talking to get Conor Gallagher out of Chelsea. You're talking 25 million, I think, 30 million. I think you're pulling in a lot of teams around that price. 50 million, no one's going for him.
And then you end up with what? If you don't, what do you end up? Would you end up with a situation with like Ross Barkley or Drinkwater who just sits on your bench
Barkley
for 4 years.
They
sit on your bench for 4 years, just taking the money,
the
money because you wanted to. You couldn't look at the whole thing and go, wouldn't it be better to just get rid of him for 25 million and then that's your wages and everything gone then?
Gone. Daniel says, instead of asking who we can buy, who do you think we can sell and get out the door? Worrying for getting Deadwood out the squad when other clubs aren't putting bids in for our best players. It's a really good question, Daniel, and getting people out the door is the most difficult thing to do. I don't know, is the answer. You can't make clubs come for your players. If they look at players and go, like, put Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jordan Pickford and Ben Godfrey, put them to one side, right? And Anthony Gordon, say. After that, who is anybody buying? You look at Everton. Who's attracting bids?
Well, have West Ham just bought a centre-back?
I don't know. I know they've been looking. Forest have just got Nia Carty for 8 million, which is, again, something that they've been all over, but there you go.
Sure,
West Ham are looking. I know they were looking at one over the weekend, so say they have. So that'd be Michael Keane staying. No one's coming for Mason Holgate. No one's coming for midfielders. Andre Gomez, I don't know. Maybe you can offer him around in Portugal, I don't know. But no one's going to come in. No one's going to be banging the door down to get to him, are they? No one's probably coming in for Tom Davis. No one's coming in for Salomon Rondon. You know, Damari Gray. So Everton haven't got tons of players who they can sell. So it is Darmo. It's Darmo Ritchie, isn't it?
Yeah, they've just bought a centre-back.
After you.
Moroccan, 30 million, West Ham. Yeah, so that's Michael Keane.
30 million as well.
26-year-old.
So there you go. So, you know, people are doing business, and Everton aren't exactly the most attractive team to come and buy from. So it is going to be difficult to get rid of these people. Jay says, you think we'll be offered a good broadband package? Who knows? Abigail's auto-correct. Come on. Don't give it too hard a time. Right. Final refresh. John Jones says, players at Everton have big wages. Who'll pay them, especially if they've not performed well here? Yeah, exactly.
I think just on that though, we are a lot of these players that are also entering the last 2 years of their deals, which is quite, a lot of them. The ones who were only the longest ones are, I think, Pickford, Ben Godfrey, Patterson, Michalenko. I think everybody else is 2 years. What's Michael Keane got?
He's still got 3.
Yeah,
the Athletic done it, didn't he?
So a lot of them are down to the last 2 years.
Yeah,
so.
Most of them are 2 years.
So
there's only like Patterson, Michalenko people. Like Dom's got 3, hasn't he? I thought Dom had 2. He's got 3, which is another reason why Ritchie might be the preferred sale. Although we get better, our FFP score is better if Dom goes because of the profit. Yeah. So it's just bizarre the way it works, but there you go. Mike Cosgrove says, well in on the 65k subs, lads, class, on Twitter. We're on 60 odd here, aren't we? So it's good. Right, last few. Jack says, reckon we will be looking to free up a bit of money by selling Nkunku. Can't see us renewing his contract and it'd pay for someone's wages. Who would buy him though? That's the problem. I think Lampard will have a look at Nkunku as a backup. James Warland says, when Forest get Garner for 20 million, no way we should be paying 40 for Gallagher. Yeah, I don't think we pay 40. Evan Clip says, you see that Sporting 145 for Nunes, and it was done for 15. Yeah. George Adair says, aye lads, do you not think we'd be better off looking to get Sarr from Watford rather than Dennis? Depends on money, doesn't it? All comes down to money, George. Peter Jones says, you think Onyango can make an impact? Seems like he's been around the first team a few times. It's up to him, innit? He's got the physical attributes. He's got to build himself up. You said he's already doing stuff,
extra work
in the gym and that, which is good because you've got to. Hopefully, if he could make an impact, be great for us. You know, young midfielder, big, physical. And the final one, Ryan Lomax says Jesse Lingard on a free is the kind of transfer, especially at FFP.
30.
He did the griddy well in
TikToks in Times Square.
Good griddy though.
I don't even know what that is, mate.
What he was doing.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that. Paige knows what it is, which is just a weird cultural thing that used.
Well,
I've got
an 11-year-old who does the griddy when he scores.
That's no excuse.
It is. If I final one, this definitely is the final one because it's a ped-only question. Do you like Reese's chocolate?
Oh, I love Reese's chocolate, although I'm not eating it at the moment.
Yeah, he said he's just back from Pennsylvania, tried the dark, white and big cup varieties. He said, delicious.
No, I'm off. Well, I'm not off chocolate, but I'm trying to cut down on I am off beer at the moment, which is tough. Friday. It was tough on Friday.
So you're essentially just being me at the moment.
Well, I'm trying to,
You're on the shred, aren't you?
I'm in the gym three times a week. I'm going to come in here a couple times this week on my bike. So, trying to get the weight off.
Don't come on like the total warm days, just a couple of warm days.
No, I will do. On the warm days, I will do.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the weight. I've put a lot of stress weight on the end of the season, a lot of stress eating. That's what Everton have done to me, so I want to get rid of that. Do you know what I mean? And
okay.
Cause I think what will happen in the next 4 weeks is I'll get down to a weight that's below Ned, and Ned will get to my weight because he is becoming a little fat bitch.
He's loving it. He's at the extra food he's eating lately.
Oh, he loves it, doesn't he? I don't know what.
Why
it
do you
is.
go to?
Do you know what it is?
You're not going to eat more.
Him and Cam. Cam's trying to put weight on.
Cam's bulking.
And he's bulking, and Ned's like, I'll come with you to the Nando's and we'll get special meals together.
I've got a.
And
Cam's like, not doing the gym work though.
Cam's doing the weight work.
Cam's doing the gym work.
And Ned's not. So Ned doesn't understand why he's having to buy a new pair of pants every couple of weeks.
He did say that.
So
he'll be all right. He'll get on it. He's got to do sit-ups now.
I've got a wedding a week after we get back from America, right? So I have to wait.
You got a mic on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to wait till we get back from America to buy a suit because I know if I buy a suit now, it won't fit me when I get back from America.
Just get yourself into shape.
He sent us a picture over the weekend, right? I don't know why. It was like in front of a mirror, right? Genuinely, right?
Just showing you
like,
cool outfit.
Look how cool I look. Honest to God, I thought he was making his communion. Genuinely thought he was making his. I thought some our fellow was shoving a wafer in his mouth. And that's not even a euphemism. Anyway, right, we'll be back at 5 o'clock on Patreon.
Subscribe if you haven't, but thanks for watching.
See you
Take it
later.
easy. Bye.